dictionary tutorial. So we have been discussing about the container type, which is available in Python. We already discussed practice list in the last class. So you know what is container type? What is container type? A memory space where you can save more than one values is called container type, container data type. So last week we discussed list, and this week we are going to discuss and practice dictionary. So dictionary is the data type which is mostly used by Python users after list. List is the number one. List is the number one container type used in many applications. After list, dictionary is the next powerful container type. So the advantage of dictionary is it is like a database, miniature of database. You might have learned database, right? Database concepts, 3000 level course. So database is like a row and column value, right? Row and column value, relational database. So this dictionary data type will act like a miniature of database. It will store key and value pair. It's like a two values, pair values. Key and value pair will be saved in a single memory location. So that is dictionary. So how to create dictionary? So to create dictionary, either you can use curly brace. You can use curly brace, or you can call the built-in function. This is the built-in function that you'll use. Take notes of it. Dict, and you can pass whatever you want to create, whatever values you want to create. Okay, that you can be passed as an argument into this method, dict method. This is how you can create a dictionary. And we know that dictionary should have pair of values. Always you should have key and value. Key and value. You cannot have key alone or value alone. If there is a key, there should be a value associated with that. Key and the value will be separated by colon, as you see in this example. Key and the value should be separated by colon. And the different dictionary elements should be separated by comma. Just like your list element, dictionary element should be separated by comma. So this is the basic intro of how to create dictionary. You can either see, for example, here in the first code, which I have commented it out, I have used dict method. Either you can use this or you can simply pass these values inside the curly brace. Okay. Okay. So next thing, which is we didn't see it in list, which is different from list, is duplication. In dictionary, duplication is not allowed. When I say duplication, it is not about values. It is about key. There should not be duplication. There should not be multiple elements which has same key value. Values are allowed, but key should be unique. Okay. So this is kind of similar to the database concept, right? In relational database, the rows should be, the column values should be unique, right? The same concept. That in relational database, whatever is called column heading, here it will be the key. Okay, similar to key. So since it is a miniature of relational database, we have to keep it in mind that should not be a repetition of keys. Keys should be unique. Okay, so that you have to take into account. Second thing, how about the other language? So we know that Python is so special because of its different type of container types. List is very unique in Python, unique thing about Python. But how about dictionary? Is that dictionary concept in other languages? Actually, dictionary concept is there in other languages as well with different names. So in C#, they name it as mapping. In Java, they'll use the term hash map. If you know Java, you can recall hash map. That's what they say. In PHP, they say associated array. So this dictionary concept, that is key value pair concept, is there in other languages as well. But about Python, it is unique because of its variety of built-in methods available that goes with this data type, right? So it has a lot of methods available that we can use, built-in methods available, which we can reuse. Okay, so that is what making it unique about dictionary. We are going to practice all the available built-in methods as part of this tutorial. So you can just take a notes of these things: C#, hash map, associated array. So all those things refer to this key value pair concept. Okay. Next, let's see how to access these values. We know how to access because list is sequence data type. You can just access any value in the list by specifying its index value. But dictionary is not a sequence data type. You cannot give index value to access the values, right? So you have to use a key value. You have to specify key value since it is not sequentially ordered one. We have to give key value to access the value. For example, in this previous case, I hope you have created a dictionary. Let's try to access the first value, whatever you have given. Let's try to access the first value. So to access the first value, how can you do that? Just give the dictionary data type name, container type name, which is customer here, and give the key value. Key value here is name. So when you pass this as an array value, as a parameter to the customer data type, like how you would do it in indexing. In list, you'll pass the index value, right? Like that, you have to pass the key value. Since it is string, you have to pass it as a string. Then you can access the value associated with that key. What will happen when we try to access something which is not available? Okay, if we try to access, for example, this dictionary, what I have created has two keys. One is name, three keys, name, role, and department. When I try to access a key which is not available, what do you think? What will happen? You can give a try. So when you try to access, it would say key error. Key error. That error that you get is called key error. It will see, no, I don't find any key in that name. So how to handle this key error in an elegant way? We don't want to get the error. We want to handle it. Like our try except, we want to catch this error and handle it in an elegant way. To avoid this key error, we are going to use the method called get method. We are going to see built-in methods after this, but this get method is part of a dictionary built-in capsule. It is a very important method that we will use very often. Get method. So what this get method will do, we'll see it in detail, but as of now, to handle this situation, key error situation, how can we use the get method? Let's see that. So customer dot. So as you know already, when you create this, automatically this customer is like a what? Like what? It's like a capsule of which type? Dictionary type, right? So it's a dictionary capsule. So you can just assume it's a dictionary capsule. What is there in that capsule? A variable and the methods. Okay. So we are going to access the methods available. So to access the methods from this object, you'll use that dot and get is the method. And when you pass a variable, which is not that, when you try to access it through the get method, then it will simply say none, which is better than the key error, right? Which is better than the key error. So before, when you try to access a particular key, which you're not sure that it is there in the dictionary or not, you can go and use this get method that will avoid throwing error. When you get the error, it will just get stuck. It will not move forward. But when you use these methods or different way to catch this error, that it will not interrupt the flow of the program. That is the main reason why we need to know how to handle errors. Another way to check whether a particular key is there in the container type or not is in operator, which makes sense, right? So you can simply give the key value and pass this in and then say the data type. Here you can see I have checked it as a string, which is different, right? I didn't pass it. Here it is an object, but here I didn't pass it as an object. I just give it as a data type name. And then it says, no, I don't see that key value in this container. Does it make sense? Okay. So these are the ways that you can use to avoid the key error. So when you give a key which is there inside the data type, then it will just give the value. So that is the main purpose of get method. So the main purpose of get method will be like you can either use customer and square bracket name that will give, or you can just use this get method to get the values. So these are small bricks that you're going to use in the problem solving. So remember all those things, okay? Okay, next thing. Another way to handle this no key value error, error is assigning a default value. When there is a particular key is not there, instead of throwing error or instead of saying none, you can give a default value. So whenever that particular key is called, this default value will be displayed. Okay. So for this also, we will use the get method. So you can see for all these things, we are using get method. So to use get method in this way, you have to pass two parameters. One parameter is that particular key which may be available or which may not be available. And the second parameter is going to be the default value when that particular key is called. So far we are just discussing about how to handle no key error, key error, okay? How to handle key error. I hope it's clear so far, right? So next thing, we are going to see how to assign values. Little bit, let's get started. Actually, how to assign values, all those things. Let's get it started. So let's create a new dictionary. This time, use dict method and play with that, okay? Dict method to create a dictionary. Now we have a dictionary data type. The name is week. And we are going to assign the values and keys. How to assign values? You can simply give the square bracket. The key will be passed inside the square bracket and the value for that key will be assigned like this, like how normally you will assign the values in an index. Like that, you are just, instead of using index, here we are using key. That's the only difference. Okay. So now we can see that 1 is assigned to Sunday and 2 is assigned to Monday, right? So can just try to print it out. This is how you can access the values by using the key value. Accessing. Or you can use get method, but using get method is kind of, this is more easier default direct way by using key value. Second thing, we are going to see how we can, sometimes when we do the output or for some display messages, we need to coordinate. We have to replace the value of the variable and we have to combine it with the string, right? So string concatenation is simple as it is, we discussed in list. It is very simple. Just use the plus operator and pass the string. It will do the concatenation easily. It's not different from list. It is same as list. Simply use the plus operator directly. It will do the concatenation. So nothing unique, same. Let's do a small comparison between list and dictionary. Right now, you are you have solved a lot of problems using list concept. Let's do a small comparison. This will help you to understand dictionary a little bit more. So if someone asks you to define list, how can you define a list? List is a linear collection of heterogeneous data type, multiple different kind of data type, but in a linear way, linear collection. Okay. So by default, it follows first in, last out, which is the default data structure for computer programming. It follows first in, last out. But dictionary, in opposite, it is called labeled collection value. Just be familiar with these terms, okay? Labeled collection value or key value pair, you can just use any terms. Labeled collection value. So the elements are associated with the label, or you can say key, label or key. Main difference between the list and dictionary is its accessing mechanism. Since it is linear, you will use indexing method. Since it is labeled, you will use key value pair mechanism, which we have already discussed, but we are just going to practice it to see the difference. So let's practice it. Create a list. You know how to create a list using the list method or using simple square bracket. You can create a list. And I hope you remember the method, append method. We have discussed list methods, right? So what the append method will do? It will just add the values to the list, right? So we are adding values. You can just add any value to this list that we have created. Okay, and then try to access the value. You will you know how to access the value by using, if you want to access 22, so accessing and changing value. So initially we have appended 11. If you want to change that 11 to 22, then simply you can access the 0 and then you will change the value. If you want to do the same thing in dictionary, if you want to do the similar kind of operation in dictionary, let's see how to do it. First, let's create a dictionary. By using the dict method, you can create a dictionary. Now we are going to assign the values, pass the values to the dictionary. You know how to do it. Give the data type name, which is dictionary here, and pass the key value. I'll say label. Pass the label or key, and then assign the value of the key. So we have passed two values. The first key is ID, the second key is course. And like that. Okay, now when I change the values, so I'm just changing the values. So you can see how I change the values by using zero indexing value like that. Here, if you want to change the values, here you can see first when I try to print diction, it just gave 2431. There is no restriction. You can even change the for same because the memory space is for diction. Now, when you try to print diction, you will not get the previous values. The previous values got changed into these new values. Okay, this is how you can access and change the values. Only thing that you have to remember is pass the keys. That's it. Okay, now we are going to move on to the next concept on how to combine this list and dictionary together. You know list, you're learning dictionary, how to combine these two to solve problems. Let's see that. Okay. So we have discussed about get function, right? So the most useful use case of get method is for counting. So we are going to see a use case here. Okay. So counting, for counting or to see how many times a particular value appears. So let me tell you what we are trying to do here. So what is this courses? Can you tell me what is this courses? Is it it's a list, right? And what is this counts? It's a dictionary, right? So we have created a dictionary called counts and we have created a list called courses. So the task that we are going to complete here is we are going to read through this list and we are going to say how many times a particular course appears, okay, in this list. Okay, so think about it. How many times this course appears in this list? How the output will be? The output for this task will be, you have to specify 2430 appears one time, 2431 appears two times, 1430 appears one time. This is how we can give the complete the task, right? Can you connect to get this kind of output? Can we do it in list? Can we use list for this kind of outcome? No, right? Because we have to assign 2431 with the count. The particular course, we have to assign it with the count. Can you, does it make sense? Right? So the course is going to be the key, and number of times the course appears is going to be the value. Does it make sense? Right? So to solve this kind of problem, to complete this task, we are going to iterate through course. And then we are going to do the counting. So here, whenever we use for loop is by default what data type? List data type, right? We are going to iterate through this list by using for. By default, it will go element by element and check the values. This you can understand. Look at this code. Here, what are we trying to do? Counts is what? Counts is a dictionary data type. So what you pass into the count? List. We are passing list into the count, right? So let's see what is the outcome. So when you pass it, we are assigning this here because this is simply a list, which is a single value, but we need key value pair. Let's see what we are doing here. So counts dot get method course. So what we are doing here is a dictionary method, dictionary object, dictionary method we are getting. So what is this course? It's an iteration variable. Agree? Courses is a list variable, but course is a iteration variable. So what is in the first iteration, what will be the value for this course? 0. Or I22430. What is the value for that iteration variable? 0 is the index, but what is the value of that indexing? What is the value that will be saved in this iteration variable in the first iteration? 2430, right? 24. Do you agree? The first iteration, the course value is 2430. Okay, that is there in the list. And we are passing the get method. Second parameter is 0. Okay, it's 0. But we are doing so. This IT2430 is assigned with the value 0. Key is 2430. Value is 0, right? Because the second parameter is 0. But what we are doing here? We are doing an addition, right? So this will get added to the value, not with the key. It's not a string concatenation. This will get added here. So what will be the value for 2430? It will become 1, right? So this 1 will get added here. So the outcome of this counts now will become 2430 and 1. Let me tell you. The outcome is going to be like IT 24301. Agree? This is the dictionary element. Now in this, so this has IT 24301. So you got it. Second thing, it will, we are not printing it. It will check whether there is next element. The second iteration, it sees IT 2431, right? So now the current iteration here is 2431. So this get method see whether this value is already there in the dictionary. Do we have it already? No, we have it 2430, not 31. It's a unique element. So since it is unique element, it will add assign 1 to that. So now it will become, sorry, it will assign like this. IT, comma, IT 24312. Sorry, 1. Agree? The second iteration, again, third iteration, you are getting 2431 once again. So that is the thing about get method. You didn't write any code to see the duplication. But what is the characteristics of dictionary? When I started this class, I told you, it doesn't allow what? Duplication. It doesn't allow duplication. Key value should be unique, right? So since, but here you see duplication, right? Because already 2431 is there in the dictionary. Since it doesn't allow duplication, it just consider the first atom and it just gets the first value and then it will add 1 to that existing value. So in the third iteration, this will become 2 because of what characteristics? It should be unique. Got it? And in the fourth iteration, we have IT 1430. Can you tell me what happens in this iteration? The current iteration variable is IT 1430, right? What will happen with the value? It is unique value, right? So it will add 1 to that. So at the end of all iterations, when it will check whether there is another value, there is no value. So it will end the loop and it will come out of the loop and it will print the result. Do you get this result? You know how it happened, right? Okay. So what is the primary thing that made it happen? The dictionary is unique. Dictionary handles only unique value, key value handle unique. Because of that characteristics, when we used get method, we were able to use the characteristics to solve this task, right? Okay, so keep it in your mind. Key is unique. So when you use get method to solve it, you can solve different kind of tasks like this. Counting task. Whenever you see counting task, we can use dictionary. Okay, so have you heard about this histogram thing? What is histogram? Histogram is like a package which will let us know how many times a particular value appears, whether it is an image. Here in this case, I have just shown you the image to make that point clear. You can look at this image. It has 0 to 256 gray values, right? 0 means black, 256 means white. So you can look at this histogram, 250 actually here. Okay, so it says how many zero values are there, how many pixels that has this 50 value, how many pixels that has 200 gray value, right? So you can see around 256 and 256, how many pixels will be there. You can do the multiplication and you can just assume. So this is like the histogram. Do you understand what is histogram? A count, how many times a particular value appears. Do you think we can use the dictionary for these kind of tasks? Because of its character, it is unique. So if there is 200, it will just take it as a 200 as unique value and we'll see if there is any other pixel that has 200, then it will just get it and add it to the counting, right? So because of this, we can use dictionary for counting. Does it make sense? Okay. So let's do similar kind of task now. So let's create a dictionary. So I have just given you the visible example, but let's do the same thing for doing counting on a sentence. You're going to pass a sentence and you're going to see how many times a word appears in the sentence. We're going to solve this task, if that makes sense, right? Yeah, we're going to solve this task. So let's create a dictionary where it is going to have a word and number of times a particular word appears. And then we are going to prompt the user to enter a text. Just you combine this. Prompt the user to enter the text. Then, once you enter the text, and you save it in the variable line. Can you tell me what is the data type of this line? Output of input function is always string, right? So this data type is string. Agree? Okay. Split method is a built-in method of what data type? String data type. So object, string object, dot operator, split method you are using. Can you recall what is the output of split method?
It separates them into finding strings and lists.
List. Good. So the output of the split method is always a list. So this words is a which data type? A list data type. So line is a string data type and the words is a list container data type. Okay. Now we are going to see what is that in this words, which is the list. We are printing out the values in the list. Whatever you have typed, that will get printed here. Now, we are going to use the dictionary method to do a counting job, to count how many times a particular word appears. Since we have gone through this example, I hope you'll be able to relate. So whatever word that you have entered will be there in this list, words. For example, I have you can just enter anything which has a repetition of word to check our result, okay? So I have just get a tongue twister and passed this, okay? Let me check, let me try it. So I'm just getting a tongue twister to get the repetition of words. So I'm just getting this first one and passing it through this dictionary. Okay, you can just get anything. After that, so what these words will have? Words will have the list of words without any, because list doesn't care about repetition. It will just get it and put it together in a list. And what will be there in the first iteration? This iteration variable will have the first value, Peter. And then here it will do this. You can relate it now. So what will be there here? Counts is what? Can you recall? Counts is a dictionary. Okay, it is going to have the key and the value. Okay, here we are assigning this thing. First word is going to be Peter, right? Peter, it will check whether it is a duplication or not. It is not a duplication. So it will assign 1 to that Peter. And then it will do the next thing. Second value, second iteration, Piper. That will get assigned with 1. Pick 1. Like that, it will keep going. Okay, so when it sees a repetition, for example, here A is repetition. First repetition is A, right? So when it sees the repetition, it will just go and check the dictionary. Since the dictionary doesn't allow the duplication, it will consider the value and attach 1 to that. That's how it does the counting. Okay, I don't need to explain it much because we just saw an example. Okay. Now you can see it will do the counting and will just give you the dictionary with the number of repetition. The key value and the count will be the value. So I'll say key, the value of key and the value of value. Okay, I hope now this one is very clear how you can use combination of list and dictionary together to do counting. Is this clear? So if you are given with any task that is supposed to do counting thing, you can just iterate through that in list and use this get method and then just keep counting. Okay. Shall we move on? So next thing, if this is kind of not clear because I have given you a very lot of words, you can just take a small sentence with few repetition and make it clear. If it seems very confusing, you can even iterate through the values. For example, here what I have done. For key in counts. Okay. Here, what is for key? So counts is what? Can you tell me what is counts? Dictionary. So each iteration, each has Pete and Ford. Each has this. So this actually a list element. If you see it is a list element. You know that it is dictionary internally. But how the for loop work? When you use for loop for anything, it should be a list, right? It should be a list, right? Look at this. This is like this. We are going to pass it like a list. It is going to be passed. But the only thing, each list element is the combination of this. You can consider this is together a list element. This is together a list element. This is together a list element like that. Okay. So in that criteria, we are going to iterate through that. When we iterate through that, what is key here? It's a temporary iteration variable, right? So here we are trying to print key, which is a iteration variable and counts of key. Okay. So, but the thing is like, it is not an index data type. It is a labeled data type. So when you print the current iteration, it will consider this. So when you say key, it will print key, Peter. And then when you try to do counts of key, can you tell me what is counts again? It is a dictionary. So the dictionary of key will give you what? Value of that, right? So here the key is Peter, then it will give you the value of key. What is the value of key? 4. So in case if you need to iterate through each and every dictionary element, this is how you can do it. You cannot simply pass print key. Then what will happen when you just give key? You can do that as well. It will just give you the key value, but if you want to make a sensible data out of it, then you can combine these two logic and put it together. Got it? So just different perspective. If you don't want the key first, if you want the value first, doesn't matter. You can just print the values first because it is a combination. It goes together. It will not get separated. Okay. Here I'm just passing the counts first and then passing means printing the counts first and then key. Is this clear? Okay. So next we are going to discuss about built-in methods. Okay. So to use this dictionary concept, first we have to be familiar with what are the methods available in dictionary. So let's see what are the methods, built-in methods available in dictionary. Pass any dictionary object to dir method. So we just created accounts, which is a dictionary object. So we have just passed that to see what are the methods available. You can look at this. So these are the methods available, total number of methods available in dictionary. So let's try all of them. Okay. So let's see one by one. So first popular method is keys method. So what this keys method will do, it can get a list of key in dictionary variable. If you just want to get the list of keys alone, then you can use this keys method. Let's check it. Either you can create a new dictionary or you can just reuse the dictionaries that you have created already. So here I have created a new dictionary to make it easier to look at the output. And then I'm just passing into saved as a list. Print list of week. What I'm doing here, I'm passing a dictionary into list. What will be the output? Output will be obviously list. But what is there in the list? Will it consider the key as a main element or the value as a main element? You can look at that. It just consider key as a main element. It doesn't, it ignores to display the value. Okay. So we can take it into account. So let's try this keys method. You know, week is the object. We just created a dictionary object. If you're using Visual Studio Code, then just use tab. It will give you the, it gives you sometimes Jupyter also gives you dot. If you press dot and then tab, it will give you the list of built-in methods available. Okay, just give you the key. Either you can pass it to the list or you can simply use key. But you don't want key, you want list. You can, here I'm just combining these two, which is nothing but it will just give it as a list. Here, this is dictionary as a list, but here it is simply dictionary. I don't want to confuse you. Just have it. Let's explore the values. What will happen when you explore the values? For that, the built-in method that we are going to use. I'm just pressing dot and then tab key. Okay, then it will give you list of methods. So I'm just using values method. Now it gives you the list of values. You can see everything is list of values, list of keys. What do you want to do when you want to get both value of key and value of value? If you want to get both, then you have to use this method called items. Try items. When you try items, it will give you both key and the value. But you see a new data type here. You know the square bracket, meaning of square bracket. You know the meaning of curly brace, which is dictionary. But what do we see here? It's called tuple. You might have done the reading in Zybook about tuple. We are going to practice tuple next week. But what you see here is tuple. When you use item, the output of the items method is always what? A tuple which has a pair of key and value. Okay, so keep these things in your mind. You always get a tuple. But what will happen when you pass it to list? What will happen? Obviously, when you pass it to list, it will create a list of elements, but each element is a tuple. I told you list is a heterogeneous data type, right? It can have integer, floating point, string, array, a list itself, a dictionary. Here it is having a tuple as a list element. Okay, because it can have any kind of data type as its list element. So here it has tuple as a list element, but it will not handle dictionary as a list element. You can see it will just convert it into tuple and then do it. Okay, as of now, just have this thing clear. Items gives you the tuple as an output. That's it. Okay, now let's look at the other built-in method. So let's see one by one. First, we are going to use the clear method. It will help you to remove all the elements from the dictionary. I'm just creating a new dictionary. You can just create any dictionary, or you can just reuse it. You can just reuse it if you want. Okay. And then I'm just printing it out, and then I'm just cleaning it out. So what I'm doing to remove this dictionary, what I have created, I'm just using that object, dictionary object dot a clear method. Okay. Dot, then tab. You can see the clear method appears. Just remove it. It doesn't remove the memory space. Does it get rid of that memory space? No. It just have that memory space, but just clean the data in the memory space. That is what the clear will do. It will not get rid of the memory space because it still has that variable. But that variable doesn't have any value. That's it. The memory space does not have any value. That's what the clear method will do. Next, we are going to see how to use copy method. So copy method is there in the dictionary that will help you to create a copy of a dictionary. So again, I'm creating another new dictionary to try this. And then I'm creating variable x where I'm applying this object dot copy method. Can you give me your guess? What will be the data type of this x? Dictionary, right? Because you're assigning a dictionary and then you're copying. So obviously the X will become a dictionary, right? And you can check it. X copied all the data which is there in this course object and then printed it out. So that is copy method. So next we are going to see from keys method. What this from keys method will do? The method name is from keys. Okay. So let's create a new variable here. In this case, here we are creating a simple parameters list of variable x. Okay. Let's try to see the type of x. What do you see? It's a tuple because you're using the bracket, simple bracket. Okay, we're not going to go into a lot of tuple things, but just for practicing it, just understand. Whenever you see a bracket, then it is a tuple. Okay, what is x? A tuple. And then we have y. It's a single variable, single data variable. So what are we doing? Dict. It's a method. Okay. From keys, we are passing this from keys method where we are passing x and y. X is a tuple and y is a single variable. What do you think? What will happen? It will just take that keys and assign this y to all these keys like this. Okay. So if you want to assign the same value for all the keys, you can go for from keys. I'm repeating. If you want to assign same values for all the keys, then you can pass this into from keys. Does it make sense? Okay, from keys. Second thing, if you are not specifying anything, here you are passing a default value. What will happen if you are creating a tuple and use from keys? This dict is going to be the dictionary, right? This is a dictionary, obviously, because we use dictionary method. So when you don't pass the second meter, then what will happen? It will just get none and assign it with every value. It will assign none to every value. Got it? Okay. Next thing, this is, we are familiar with this, right? Get method. We already know what this get method will do. Let's do a little bit more on that. Yeah. Do you have this course thing? Did you create this kind of variable or did you use the same variable? So if you use the same variable, we already tried it. You can just ignore or just try to use it as a continuation of methods. You can just try to use get method. You know what get method will do, and you know how we can use this get method for different tasks. So it will simply get the value of that key. Okay. Value of the key. Okay, so next method that we are going to see is pop. Pop will remove an element with the specified key. So if you have used this course, if you want to use a particular value from the dictionary, then you can use pop method passing that key. Then it will simply remove that particular dictionary element together. Both key and value will be removed. Method for that is pop. Removing thing with the use of key. If you're simply use pop item method, what that will do, it will, because this is first in last out, still dictionary is first in last out. Whatever the last inserted item, that will be removed. If you use pop item, spatial value. Last inserted value will get removed. For that, you'll use pop item. If you want to remove a particular item, use pop method. Okay. If you want to remove the last item, then you can use pop item. And there is another method called set default. So what this will do, if you have different key and value pair, but for example, you're taking course for all the students, the semester is going to be for all your courses, semester is going to be spring. So that is a default key and value, but it is going to be assigned with a dictionary, but you don't want to repeat it each and every time. In that case, you can just create a dictionary and then you can use the set default method. So that will do what? It will just, no matter how many times you do, it will just assign the semester with spring value for all the dictionaries that is using this structure. Set default. So that is set default method. The another method that we are going to see is update method. In case if you want to change one of the dictionary element, or you want to add a new element, or you want to do anything that is a kind of changing. If you want to change the dictionary that you have already created, use update. We used append to add element, but here we use update. Update, add that key and value pair together. That will append this new value into the dictionary. So I think we have pretty much covered all the built-in methods available in dictionary. So let's do a small recall. So key, value, items, and then pop items, set default, from keys, update. It's not that. Yeah, it's not. I will update the new PDF. So as of now, if I keep it here like this, see whether you can follow. Okay, course, try set default, try set update. So, okay. Two iteration variable, which is what we are going to use most. It's a, so far we have learned, you know, how the iteration works with single variable, right? Iteration variable. We are going to do two iteration variable. We know the week dictionary that we have created has two values, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then 1, 2, 3 as a key value, right? So what we are doing here, week is the dictionary object. And what will be the output of keys? Let's recall. What will be the output of keys method when you pass it to the object? Can you tell me what is the output? When you pass keys method to the dictionary object, the output is list, right? So that's what we are using here. So so this will obviously be is a list. With the list only we can iterate through, right? In for looping, right? So this is a list by default, and I hope you got it, right? List. And what are we trying to do? We are just iterating and we are getting the values. You can see it gets 1, 2, 3. Same thing we can do for values. Again, when you pass the values method to key dictionary object, the output data type is list. Since it is list, when you iterate through that, you will get the values. This is clear, right? What will happen when we do both together? Here we are creating two iteration variable. This concept is new to you. Passing two iteration variable, which is new. This iteration variable is going to take, so can you recall what is the output of items? Tuple. Output of items is tuple, right? Can you, let's see where we have our tuple items. I'm just going to copy and paste here. So you know that this is tuple. Week.items is tuple. Do you agree? So here, each list element is a tuple element. In the first iteration, what will be the iteration variable? What will be the value of this iteration variable in the first iteration? This together is a list element, right? So this will be handled together. And so the first iteration variable is doing here. We are iterating through that. So A will take care of the first element in the tuple. The first iteration variable is this. In the first iteration, A is 1, B is Sunday. In the second iteration, A is 2, B is Monday. The third iteration, A is 3 and B is Tuesday, like that. Okay, that's what you get here. So did you get it? Double iteration. So we are going to use this concept now. Now we are going to combine all the things that you learned so far. Okay, and we are going to solve a task. The task is you're going to read a file. And in the file, you're going to count the words. Obviously, we can do the counting. We can use the dictionary for counting thing, right? We are going to go through the file and see how many times a particular word appears, or which word appears more time. Do you think we can solve this task? We are going to read a file. So what is the file name? The file name is twister.txt. If you go to, always if I give you any file, you can just go to Folio and get that file. Twister.txt. Please download this file and have it in your current folder to use it. So twister.txt file. Please download it and have it. So this is what I have it in this file. So we are going to go through this file, read it and see which word appears many times in the histogram, like a histogram, which word appears many times. Ready to solve it? So we are getting an input and then file handler to open the file. Okay. And then obviously we are going to solve it with the dictionary. So to do the counting, let's create a dictionary with the word and the number of times a word appears. Here, handle this thing with the file handler. It will read line by line. In the first iteration, it will read Peter bought a butter. That is the first iteration variable. So the line has this line as a value, and we apply split method. Whenever we apply split method, the output will be always list data type. So you know that this is list data type. What is there in this list data type words? List variable. It has strings, right? List of number of words. So it will split is simply nothing you pass. Delimiter is simple space. So the words is going to have a list saying Peter bought a butter. Okay, it has that. Now again we are doing another iteration. First we are iterating through the line. Now we are iterating through what? Loop. Right? We are iterating through the loop, and this has these 4 words, and we are iterating through that word. And inside that, we are using a dictionary. Okay? Let me explain it. So like that, it will first iterate through the line here, and then it will split the words and put it into list element. And then it will iterate through the list element. Inside the that iteration, it will just keep counting. So Peter, the first iteration, Peter 1, bought 1, A 1, butter 1. In the second line, the 1, but butter is already there. So it will be 2. This will be 2. This will be 2. Was will be 1. Bitter will be 1. Like that, it will keep going. Okay. So if once we iterate through everything, let's see what we will have here. If we try to print out, so here we are counting the first iteration. Okay. Peter 3. So to do the counting, we are creating another variable, big count. And what is the big word? Okay. So how many times a particular word, which is the word which appears most of the times? If you have a general look, which has a repetition? Most repetition. Peter? I think Peter or butter? Butter. Four times the butter appears. Okay. So here we are doing double iteration. Do you get this thing? Double iteration, we just saw the previous example. So in this case, we are doing a word as one thing and the count as the next thing. So we are iterating through the list of items. Here you use items for these counts, right? So maybe let's try to print. If you try to print count, it seems like nothing is 4 times. Oh, it says for that is because this butter is together, it has this comma. It takes that. The twister file has comma that is associated with the butter, right? So that is why. But according to that, it will just see the first variable, everything is 3 times at most, right? So it will just take the Peter and repeat it. Okay, say that. So here, if big count is none and count is greater than big count, just we are filtering through that. We are just filtering this. It is just going through this tuple value and filter it. And then whatever the first one as a big word and what is the count of that, the value of that, that will be assigned here. Okay. So by default, it takes the first one and gives that. Okay, that is how it works. Okay, the last one we are going to see is a package. So far our main focus was counting, right? How many times counting appears, right? So, but do we need to do it in this way using list and then dictionary and then using count method? There is a package available. Okay, the package name is counter. So what is that? Where this package is available? It is part of collection library. I hope you have used this math package, all those things, right? So from this package collection, you are importing counter. Import a counter. We are going to do the similar thing, but without passing this for loop, dictionary, list. Without doing that, we are just, if we can use the package to do this, simply here, what I'm doing,